This is a short video to explain the workflow used to produce the Fedrigoni 365 calendar for 2021. The underpinning software used in this project is the Fusion Pro API for the variable data, Batch Builder, which is going to manage all the workflow elements and utilising its integration with InFocus Pitstop and Ultimate Input Strip, and then finally sending out to our 5-colour Pro C7200 series machine. The first step is to receive the artwork from the upstream system. In this case, we're using Fusion Pro API. Now, for this example, we're not using like a JDF or XML integration. Instead, we are just going to use a simple file naming convention. So here we have the outputs from the Fusion API, we have the text and we have the covers, and if we look in here, you can see each of these files has the same format. So it starts off with the text value, then the book number, then the touch 7 spot colour that's required, and finally the quantity of 1. In Batch Builder, we can then configure an input queue to read the job properties from the file name. In addition, we can define other parameters such as media or paper information, and we can then also enable the ability to pre-flight. As we're controlling the source of the data, there's no need to do a conventional pre-flight. Instead, we're going to utilize the InFocus pre-flighting facility to colorize the artwork instead. So for each artwork or each color, we have its own defined pre-flight, and this will run based on the file information. Here we have a sample artwork that's been sent out by the Fusion Pro API. Now, if we look at the preview of this file, you will see that there are a number of spot colors within the document, but none of them are the T7780 spot color that is required for this file. So if we look at one of the pages, you'll see that it's coming out very much black and there's no color in there at all. If we have a look at the file after it's run through the pre-flight, we can do that from here. If we now look at the output preview, you'll see that the spot colors have now changed. The generic spots have been removed and they've been replaced by the T7Y780 that is required for this file. And then if we look at the artwork, you can see that it's now representing the color of the file that we need. Once the files have completed the pre-flight and they've been colorized, they'll then all appear within our master list. We then can apply a filter to these jobs and then automatically batch and impose these files. Now at this stage we are keeping them as individuals and we're sending them out as they arrive, so it's just a fully automated process. For this project we're using quite a complex imposition model. The output from this is a book that is going to be sewn in sections and then bound. So this imposition is quite complex. If we look at the imposition that we have, the pagination of the pages needs to be correct for either a 16 or a 24 page saddle stitch, and this is all controlled via the Input Strip software. We then need to add the marks, so crop marks and fold marks. We've also had to add in a barcode for the finishing equipment, so when it binds the books it can keep track of page orders and make sure everything is in the correct sequence. And then we've also added a human readable, and this is to allow the production operators to check that everything is working to plan. On completion of the imposition, the file will then loop back round and reappear back into the jobs list. We'll then batch it again, and this time we have 10 filters, as you can see here, all based on the touch 7 colour, so they're all being grouped by the different colours. And then each of these filters will automatically trigger when there are 8 jobs within that filter. So if we look at the batch, so this is a batch, we're then reimposing, so we can view the file again, and this time you will see that we now have 8 books all in one PDF, and they've been impose head-to-head, and this was the agreed layout to allow optimum finishing to be performed. Okay, the final step of the workflow is for the job to be sent to the press. Now, this integration we're utilising the JDF job ticket, and this allows Batch Builder to send the information to the press to deal with job properties and those sort of things. So when you look on the Fiery controller, you'll see two entries will appear. One is a banner sheet, so this sheet is to separate the jobs, and as you can see in the little preview, the border highlights the colour that job contains, whether it's a neon pink or a neon yellow job, and then the job itself. And then if you look at the properties of the job, it will include all the settings required. So that concludes the workflow for the Fedrigoni 365 calendar for 2021.